This is episode 81 of the Wilderness Locals podcast. On this episode, our guest is Luke from Tyto Knives. Tyto has an entire line of knives developed for the backcountry hunter. This episode is brought to you by Kafaru International, the toughest hunting gear on the planet, bar none. And as always, this podcast is brought to you by Just Shooting Arrows, BC's premier archery shop.
Good, how are you?
I'm cold. It's cold out.
Yeah. Sounds like you guys got some weather up there, huh?
Oh, yeah.
We were the coldest place in the world on Thursday. I think we come in at minus 48.
Jeez. So are you in Alberta or BC? One of you guys are in BC and one of you guys are in Alberta, correct?
Yeah, I'm in Alberta. Ty's in BC. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Doesn't get quite that cold in BC, does it?
No, it's where I'm a couple hours from the coast here. It's I don't know, negative 10 to negative 15 right now, and that's like unreal cold for us. Normally we don't get below negative 10.
Okay.
Like we have pipes bursting and all kinds of shit going on here right now.
Oh man. So you're talking negative 10 Celsius or Fahrenheit?
Celsius, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in on the suburbs of Minneapolis here, and we get cold. I mean, last year in the winter we saw negative 38 real temp. So that's pretty cold. We've been single digits here the last couple of weeks, so
that's
we're
wild.
used to it. And then,
we were negative. So for our for our brothers in the States, we were negative 54 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's
rough. I mean, you can't even really go outside.
Yeah, I work outside in that stuff though. It's terrible to work in.
What do you do?
I work in the oil and gas industry, so I'm always outside. But the problem with it is you end up just fighting everything. Like you can't get things to start and everything's frozen and you spend all day just spinning your wheels. It's not the best.
Yeah, I used to do landscaping work. So I ran a bunch of landscaping crews, but in the winter we would plow snow and it was just like, so I feel you. Just when it would get that brutal cold, every piece of machinery seemed to want to break down on you, and then trying to fix it in 3 a.m. when it's well below zero was not the funnest thing.
No kidding. So I guess we should probably clue folks into who you are and what you do.
Yeah. My name is Luke Johnson, and I am the owner of Tyto Knives.
Right on. How did you get into the knife game?
So it's an interesting story. Basically how it all started was I was on my way home from a mule deer hunt in western North Dakota, and I had a buddy of mine that shot a real nice velvet mule deer, and we stopped at a taxidermist to drop it off on the way back, and just got to chatting with him like you do at taxidermist. I didn't know him. It was just a reference from another buddy of ours. I'd say this was probably 8 to 10 years ago. Got to chatting with him, and he's, talking hunting and whatever. And he was telling us that he uses the same doctor's scalpels that he used for taxidermy in the field. So I thought that was pretty cool. Got home, bought one for next season. So just bought a regular old plastic doctor's scalpel handle and some blades.
Yeah.
And then used that for a couple seasons and just got the gears turning, and I thought that this could be a better product, and taught myself how to use a CAD computer-aided drawing program, drew up my first design, and found a local manufacturer that could help me start start the process, and kind of grew legs from there.
Right on. I mean,
where did the name come from, Tyto?
The name is the scientific name of a barn owl.
Oh, cool.
Names are pretty hard to come by, and trying to find something unique. But, I thought there's some relation to, ultralight gear and doing a lot of your work in the dark. So I kind of thought there was a relation there and kind of ran with it. So some people say Tyto, some people say Tyto. That doesn't bother me either way.
Wicked. Yeah, we've been saying Tyto up here. I should.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, you caught me off guard when you said Tyto. I was like, oh shit, I've been saying it wrong this whole time.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I heard it pronounced first. So that's what I've been running with. But either way, I know, like Snyder always says Tyto. He doesn't like the name Tyto. He was a pretty intricate part of us starting out our business. Just started our own social media page, and I'd always followed him and liked him, back in the gritty days.
Yeah.
We kind of linked up, and before I knew it, I was on the phone with him, and he was helping promote our product. So, kind of a big thanks to him to help me out. We just designed a product that he liked and he believed in, which was huge. And now I'm bouncing off ideas from him and whenever I can.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been a good help for us.
So for people that aren't familiar with your guys' product line, you kind of your bread and butter has been the replaceable blade, ultralight kind of backcountry, like finishing knife, right?
Yeah, correct. The Tyto 1.1 was basically, it's had slight changes through the past 6 years since we started. I think it's 5. It's going to be 6 this year. That was the first product that I designed, and that we started manufacturing. So yeah, it's essentially a one piece replacement blade knife with a Kydex sheath. Comes with 10 stainless steel blades, number 60 blades, which is, from what I've been using, is the best size blade for skinning, field dressing, boning out in the field, that kind of a thing. So I actually, when I did design this, I think there were other companies out there that had a folding style knife with like a plastic handle. But I was aware of them, but I had never used one. I just started with that doctor's scalpel, and I'm more of a fixed handle kind of guy. I like to keep it simple. So, that's been our kind of flagship product, if you will. And it's been awesome. Been going good.
So when did the Ghost come in?
I'm trying to think. We had, our first fixed blade was called the Fannin, which was a little bit smaller. It was not a drop point knife. I think that was probably 2 years in. I mean, basically that. So we've been working with, machine shops to manufacture these replacement blade handles. The fixed blades require a bit more machinery and grinding, which, we built up the resources to buy that machinery and start making those. So I think that was, our first one was probably 3 years ago, fixed blade knives. So
nice.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Finish your sentence.
Oh, I'm just saying this year has been a big, it's been a tough year as far as supply chain stuff and pricing. That's been constantly changing. I'm sure you guys are seeing that up in your area too. But this year we've really been investing in growing as far as inside people here and taking more of the manufacturing. So next year we're really going to be able to be set up for cranking out a lot of fixed blades. So you'll see some new designs, and inventory kept up better than it has been this year for our fixed blade stuff.
That's deadly. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the replaceable blade just in the field. I mean, there's almost no weight penalty to have 2 or 3 blades in your bag, right?
Right.
I mean, you get halfway through an elk and you feel like it's getting dull, you just swap the blade.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, especially since I started all this, I'm testing all kinds of knives and new stuff that we're working on, and just other knives that other guys with me have, whether they be fixed blades or replaceable blades. But it just, at the end of the day, I always go back to that, whether it be our 1.1 or finisher, which is the smaller titanium version, and the number 60 blade, and it just works so dang good. Hard to get away from it. Like you said, the weight penalty is next to nothing. I mean, that new finisher, the smaller titanium handle, I designed it, you can put it in your vinyl harness. So like when I'm antelope hunting, sometimes when I head out of the truck, I won't bring my pack at all. Well, which I get burned on because I don't have water. Just you have a knife and a couple of blades in your vinyl harness, and you don't even know it's there. Yeah,
that's just it. I think I'm going to change my setup this year and probably run that finisher tie in my vinyl harness and a couple blades. I've been using a different handle, but I mean, that handle that you have now, it's like a ½ ounce, isn't it?
It weighs nothing. I can look up the specs on it, but yeah, it's like I said, you have that and 3 blades, you don't even know that you have anything.
And it's flat. It can fit just in your harness, right?
Yep. And I mean, a big design point on that finisher TI was that it would fit in a vinyl harness, because I was putting the 1.1 in my vinyl harness, but it's just a little too long.
So, and some of your testing with them, have you found how many blades does it take to get through on the bigger animals like an elk or a moose?
I have not done a ton of elk hunting myself, I'm not going to lie. And, but from what I've heard on elk, it's 3 to 4 blades to get the main work done. That's not caping or anything. Once you start caping animals, you're grinding against bone all the time and they get real dull. But for deer, I mean, I think I cut up 10 deer this year in the field, quartered out. And I can do them with one blade. I'll switch to a second blade if I start caping.
Yeah, my blacktail I killed this year, where you see I used the same knife in the field as I did to cape it out at home.
Okay. I know, like years and years ago, I was using a replaceable blade. I can't even remember who made it. Maybe an Outdoor Edge or some damn thing. And I was doing a moose, and I think if anybody knows moose, their hide is like really wiry, the hair, and they usually have mud and shit on them. And I went through all the blades. So I could see that, getting into some of that thicker hair and thicker hide. And like I said, once you start hacking against bone, any blade's going to get dull pretty quick. That's why I think it's nice, especially on those bigger animals, to have a fixed blade as well, if you're going to start doing some of that harder prying or any of that kind of stuff, so you don't start breaking blades.
Yeah, you can touch up those stainless blades though. I know quite a few guide type dudes that run replaceable blade knives, and they always they bring a little stone with them and touch them up in the field for caping.
Yeah, that's we got a little hand pocket sharpener, whatever, one of the 4-inch by 2-inch long ones, and I'll do that every once in a while too. I mean, obviously, as the owner of the company, I have blades coming out of my ears, so I always have plenty of blades. But you can definitely do that. We had been working on it. We're going to revisit it this year, is to design some of our own blades too.
Oh, cool.
Which are going to be a little more sturdy. They're just going to have a little bit more backbone on them. And then with the idea that you can a little bit easier touch them up in the field and keep using the one that's already on your knife.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, the other thing too is these replaceable blades they're cheap as hell, man. It's like, what is it? $10 for 5 of them?
Yeah.
$12 for 10. And then we just started carrying another one. There's Swan Morton blades. They're actually carbon steel. Mm-hmm. And those are $12 for 5. But the Swan Morton blades are a little stiffer, and I feel like they stay sharper a little bit longer than our standard stainless blades. I like them better. I've been using those.
Yeah, I've used those blades before too. They're great. So let's get into. I mean, we could definitely talk knives all day, but I think it'd be cool to get into a bit of your backstory. Sounds like you're into mule deer hunting.
Yeah, it's I guess to start way back. I mean, I've been in the outdoors my whole life. I was thinking about it the other day, just because I got a 5-year-old, I got a 5 and a 7-year-old, and my son's 5, and trying to get him outdoors as much as I can, so he likes what I like. But when I was 5, my dad used to bring me, like drag me along pheasant hunting for long weekends and stuff. So mm-hmm. I've been doing it my whole life as far as just being outdoors. So it started there. I mean, I've been fishing and hunting for as long as I can remember. Every year I've gone out since I think I was like 12, gone out west on a, rifle deer hunt and, more prairie stuff in the Dakotas, with my dad and some of his friends. And that got me hooked on that style of hunting. So I probably picked up a bow college age. I'm 38 now. So 22 or so, I started archery hunting. And then, the adventure out west, and that I kind of quit doing everything else, and I put all my eggs in that basket. So, but mule deer hunting with a bow is kind of my number one, I would say.
I feel you there, man. I'm Wacy will get upset with me because we have all kinds of cool hunts planned this next year. Like we're going on a caribou hunt and mountain goat hunting and all kinds of shit. But I'm most looking forward to the Southern Alberta archery mule deer with waist dog there. It's our archery mule deer is just something else, eh?
It is. It's, it's just that, to me, it's just that feeling. And a lot of it I do by myself, to be honest. Even if I go out with a group of guys, we end up splitting up. But it's just throwing all your gear on your back and having a bow and your optics, and it's just you versus them. And I think that's the coolest part about it. You get to watch deer a lot too, which is cool. Learn a lot of their habits, and I've learned so much just sitting on a vantage point watching deer all day. Not even going after them. From Minnesota and Wisconsin, I do some archery hunting around here for whitetails, and it's just, you sit all day for a glimpse of a deer, and it's fun in a different way, but I really like being able to watch them,
Yeah.
Make a plan and try to get close.
I never really got bit by the mule deer bug too hard. I did some of it, but
I force him to go now.
Yeah,
man. So what does your season look like then? Because you're in Minneapolis, right? So you had west all fall or what?
For the most part, I mean, with 2 kids, running this business, and I have a quote unquote regular day job too. I don't hunt as much as I would like to. Yeah. Last year I did archery antelope, archery mule deer, a little whitetail hunting in Wisconsin, archery, kind of during the beginning of the rut there. And then, like I said before, every year I go to South Dakota on a rifle hunt. And went out there and second weekend in November. So that was my season last year. We'll see. I'm working on this year. We'll see what's going to happen. Probably going to try to swing a spring bear hunt.
Oh, nice.
Probably Idaho for that. So you guys probably do quite a bit of bear hunting up there, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we kind of just live with them, so they're everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, we're covered up in bears up here. It's it can, I don't know, should we say it could be kind of a problem? It could be kind of a problem, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So in Minnesota there, what's the hunting like in your home state?
Man, I just don't hunt a ton in Minnesota. It's good. There's a lot of good whitetail hunting. As far as archery goes, rifle hunting, like Minnesota, Wisconsin, it's an interesting deal. It's kind of like when everybody goes opening rifle deer hunting in both Minnesota and Wisconsin. It's kind of like when everybody walks into the woods, the deer know it and they kind of disappear. Yeah. So I think the best is you catch that rut action before the rifle season starts, archery hunting. I'm going to try to do some more of it. I have a couple properties in Minnesota that I can hunt. And I'm going to try to focus on that this year. It's good though, but it's mostly private land. I mean, there is public land to hunt, but it's pretty tough. Anywhere near a bigger city, it's not worth going, but you walk in and it's just cars and people everywhere.
Yeah. Me and Wasey were talking about that the other day. His old man was talking about when he was young on opening day, it would look like there was an auction going on in the fields.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, Wisconsin's real wild because they do a lot of deer drives and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And when that season opens, it's just crazy. It's orange as far as you can see. Everybody's deer hunting, whether they're really into it or just out to go drinking and sit for an hour in the morning. But it's just the woods are full of people. We got some pretty good turkey hunting around here now. They've been working on reintroducing them for a while, but there's a lot of turkeys even pretty close to me in the metro area. In the suburbs, those turkeys are freaking walking down the middle of the street, strutting in the spring. It's pretty interesting. But again, if you're going on public land, the last 2 years with COVID, there's been more people in the woods, I think, than ever. Just seemed like when stuff got locked down, that was the one thing a lot of people could do around here. So I think I heard fishing licenses in the last 2 years in Minnesota were up like 40%, something like that. So that carried over into hunting too. And there's people everywhere.
Yeah. Going back to your deer drive thing, that I was saying that was old school. I remember it never was much of a thing when I was growing up, but I remember my dad, he would set me and my brother up at certain spots. And then my dad's kind of he is a cowboy. So we'd hunt deer on horseback a lot. So he would set us up. We'd tie our horses up, a ways from us. And then he would ride his horse around a block of timber and he would push the bush with a horse and we would shoot bucks that would come out like that. That's how I remember doing some of that when I was a kid. And we get some nice deer like that. Yeah.
Yeah. You get, the tough thing about that is you're shooting at deer that are very alert. What's the country like where you hunt up there? Is it,
yeah, it's pretty big timber, a lot of it. Right. But there's farmland too that we're hunting. So.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Like, where I grew up hunting in South Dakota is more like, it's pretty open, and then there's river bottoms that got timber in them, and we used to do deer drives in some of those river bottoms, and I mean, no shit, 100 deer would pour out of some of those little patches of timber, and it was pretty.
Yeah.
It got pretty wild for a while, you know. You'd see them oiling up at the end of the timber, and the big bucks would poke their heads out and run back in, and poke their heads out and run back in. And you just have to wait, and it'd be a full out sprint when you finally got your shot.
Yeah, you have to figure your lead times out quite a bit.
Yeah, well, we don't do that.
Yeah, no kidding.
It gets a little Wild West. You want to know. You want to know who you're hunting with and their skill level. That's for sure.
Where do you hunt muleys at a lot then?
I hate to say it, but Western North Dakota, I've been doing quite a bit of muleys.
I thought you were going to say Colorado and Snyder was going to fall out of his chair.
Yeah. No, I haven't gotten out there. I mean, wherever I can draw tags. I mean, I hunt the Dakotas a lot because they're within driving range for me, reasonably, 8 to 10 hours. So I can get out scouting. My day job, I travel quite a bit, and I do have those 2 states for my territory. So I'll loop in some work travel with some scouting trips and that kind of stuff. So, you get some spots figured out, and if you can keep repeating that, it seems to drive your success rate up quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So any big stories from this season for you?
Trying to think.
I know I'm putting you on the spot.
No. My archery antelope hunt was pretty disappointing for me, I guess. Had some misses, which I'm not, haven't missed too many animals in the last few years. So missed a couple longer shots, and then I missed a pretty close shot. My dad watched me stalk in to like 40 yards on a pretty nice antelope buck that was bedded, looking the other way, just belly crawled into him, just waited till he stood up. I want to say that he jumped my string, but I think I just flat out missed.
I have a story like that from Alberta. Wasey and my other hunting partner there, Chad, have been trying to convince me that the deer jumped the string for 2 years now, and I'm still not convinced.
Yeah, it's you want to say that kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, you miss sometimes. But that was a fun trip. It's mid-August, usually really hot. Went out there with my dad. We kind of found a little spot of public that nobody else hunts on. It's kind of on the edge of antelope territory, but we found some nice bucks out there. Actually, last year we were after a real big buck. I think he ended up. Well, we know we were after a real big buck for 4 days. Both got within. I think I was at 85 yards. My dad probably got to like 90. Just never got a shot. That's pretty far, but I think I'll take a shot within 80 on an antelope if it doesn't know I'm there. But never got a shot on him anyhow. Ran into a rancher out there. Then we were just talking antelope. He's like, yeah, we haven't seen too many people hunting. But last year we killed a big one with our rifle, and he showed us the spot where he killed it, and that's where we were chasing that one. And I think it was like 84 inches, something like that, which is pretty big for that area. So they ended up getting that one. We didn't see that one again.
That's wild, man. I think Wasey's actually ready to draw antelope tag in southern Alberta, right, Wace?
Yeah. I got, we have a couple draws, one for archery, one for a rifle. So both of them are ready to be pulled if I ever get my shit together.
So how many points does that take? Or do you guys have a point system or how does that work?
Yeah. Like 1 point is 1 year. So
yeah,
you usually have a minimum amount of years before you can draw. So like, I think our rifle tag is a 12 or a 14 year.
Okay.
And then I think the archery tag used to be a lot less, but I honestly think it's up to about a 10 or 11 now, I would think. I'd have to look, but
yeah, it's getting tough. It's getting tough here in the States. I've been collecting points for Wyoming for, I think I have between 7 and 8 deer, antelope, and elk. And it's just, the way it looks to me is every year your point's worth another point less for any particular one.
Yeah, 100%.
Chasing a dream. I don't know how they're going to fix it, or if they are. There's guys out there that have 20, 30 points that are going to end up cashing them in or dying, or I don't know how that's going to work. It's point creep. And I was telling Tyler, it's pretty bad in Alberta right now, the amount of people putting in. We do have some turkeys in Alberta, and I was telling him, do you remember the stats on that, Ty? I was saying it was a 12 year to pull the turkey tag. And there was something like 12,000 guys that had enough priority to pull it every year. It was insane. So every year it's if some kid put in today, he would never pull that tag ever. The point creep is so high because there's so many people with high priority, and they only let 150 tags go every year. Yeah, I just wonder how they fix that, or if they ever do, or if they just go to a straight lottery, which, I mean, I don't mind some straight lottery type stuff. Some of the tags that I end up drawing, they're pretty good odds to draw, but it's just a straight lottery at the end of the day.
So what I think
this is hard to plan season. I guess for a guy like me that's got so much going on, it's nice to know what my hunting season is going to look like instead of just having randomly drawn a tag.
So what I think, this is my solution to it, and it's not really a solution, but I think it gets thrown when you got tags with high point creep like that. You take a cutoff, say there's 200 guys that have a 20 years on it or whatever. They get to carry on. Everyone else gets cut back to a lottery, and then they give out 50 tags to youth. So if you're under, in Alberta, I think legal hunting age is 12. So 12 to 18 years old, they get their own little box. So them kids at least have an opportunity to hunt. And everybody else goes into the lottery. And the guys that were on the high end still continue on with what they were doing. To me, I think that's kind of a solution because for me, if I don't ever get to pull it, so be it. But I feel bad for some of these kids, they'll never get an opportunity. And it's the same thing with our bighorn sheep. Some of these draws, there's kids will never get to pull them. And I think that's kind of a solution for some of it.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good way to go about it. Either way, if they're in the States or where you're at, if they're going to make a change, you're going to have to ruffle some feathers. There's going to be some guys that have just below whatever that cutoff ends up being that are going to, be a little hot because they invested some money and time in it. But there's going to have to be something. I agree with you.
Yeah, because the point creep on it's just going to be so high, right? Here, you guys talk. I'm going to look them up just so I can get you.
Okay. Hey, so I did some sleuthing, Luke, and there's an absolute stomper mule deer on your thumbnail on Instagram. I need to hear that story.
Yeah. That's an interesting one. That was last year.
That thing's killer.
So I went out in September for 9 days with 3 buddies out in that area. Beginning of September. So I saw that buck in velvet probably September 2nd. And then I saw him 4 or 5 more times that year or that outing. got close to some other deer, but he ended up being like between public and private. And he was just kind of crossing this line, but mostly he was hanging out on a big flat spot and private where I couldn't get after him. And it's a spot that I've been hunting quite a bit. You walk a big ridge out. I think it's like 2.5 miles to the glassing spot. And then it's that Badlands country. So it's that beauty Badlands country that it's just like all mud basically. And it's hard when it's dry. You can walk up and down. Anyways, watching him on the bottom feeding. So it's like, I'd have to look it up. I think it's like 500 feet from the top of that to the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
So anyways, I watched him over that 9 days. I think I saw him probably 10 times, watched him for a few hours. He was never in a spot to make a move on. Hunted some other spots, got close to another real big 3x3, stocked in on him. He stood up with a tree right in his vitals, a big 3x3. I ended up not getting a shot at him. And that's kind of how that first outing ended. The other 3 guys I was with all tagged out. So fast forward to October, end of October, I was already halfway there for a work event and decided to bomb across the state to put in a couple more days on that deer. Got out there. It was super cold. I think it was October 26th. Had snowed a little bit on my drive out there. Hunted that evening and it was like in the teens and snowing. Saw a couple small bucks. Slept. Woke up early. Headed out to that main glassing point that I was just talking about. It had snowed a little bit more. Sat down as the sun came up, spotted 2 other decent 4x4s that I was willing to probably go after, and then I spotted him. He came up on this flat, and he was chasing does around. I thought it was pretty early, but he was chasing does around on this flat, but appeared like he was going to stay on that spot for a while. He was kind of in a valley where I could use some terrain to get close enough to him to take a shot. So I started my adventure down that butte. Got up to the hill where I knew he was going to be, and I could just hear him crashing through whatever brush was in there, chasing does around. Poked my head up, saw him, but a doe saw me. He didn't know I was there. Doe saw me, so I kind of crept back down, kind of ended around to my right around a big juniper tree, and that doe was still staring at me. So I sat there like a statue for like 25 minutes. I looked at my watch. I think it was like 23 and a half minutes. Couldn't move, just freezing like in the, I don't know, it's probably like 15 degrees. That doe finally calmed down. All the while I could still hear that big buck crashing around to my left. So I backed back down the hill, back up, back to my left, just popped up by a little sage bush. And he was just standing there, had no idea I was there, just lip curling, looking around at does. Ended up making just a perfect shot on him. Went like 20 yards and tipped over. It was pretty cool. So I went and started breaking him down. And as I was breaking him down over like, taking pictures, breaking him down, probably took an hour and a half, 2 hours. Well, the sun came up and started melting that little bit of snow. By myself, packed them all up, cape, head, the whole deal, because I wanted to get a shoulder mount. Getting out of that hole was the hardest thing I think I've ever done in my life. I don't know if you've been on that Badlands gumbo stuff, but that entire butte straight up and out of there with all that. It was just, I'd take 5 steps and then you just have to cling to a sage bush and start sliding back down. And
oh yeah.
I back off times and contemplating like just leaving him. Like, I don't know. I just didn't know if I was going to be able to make it. I mean, that was the hardest thing I've probably ever done in my life. Got up to the top, and then you still got, 2.5 or 3 miles back to camp.
Yeah,
So,
I hunt some of that breaks country, and it turns into just gross gumbo, like quick crete bull crap sage country as soon as
then
it
it's a
thaws.
little bit frozen, and then the top melts, and it's just slicker, like you can imagine.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that was an adventure. It was fun, but it was tough. I'll tell you that.
That's wicked. What did that buck end up scoring?
Right at just over 190.
Yeah, he's killer. I mean, like I was just looking for your Instagram so I could look at your photos here, and like it's your thumbnail on there. It's just killer. That's wicked deer, man.
Yeah, that was adventure for sure. No, I think it's really cool when you have a little bit of history with the deer like that, like seeing them. I don't know if you scroll down to more of my Instagram, but I killed another velvet mule deer out there that was the same kind of deal. I hung out with that deer in the middle of the summer for like 4 days. Just went and camped out there, and he was just like hanging around my camp. I kept seeing him. Put up a trail camera. I had a bunch of trail cam pictures of him, and ended up killing him on the second day of the season.
That's wicked.
Nice.
That's
hey, so I pulled up some stats quick here. We'll circle back to that. So in Alberta, our turkey, they take 150 people, and there was 22,488 applications, and there was 22,338 unsuccessful. So they only took at a priority 12. So 12 years was the first year that they'll start taking, and then they took 137 guys out of the 12 year. So out of 22,000 people, if you started putting it in today, you would never pull that tag. Like statistically speaking, you'll never pull that tag because this year it's a 12, but it's just going to keep creeping, right?
That's insane.
So
for a turkey.
For a turkey. Then that's what I was saying to Tyler. Like, it would be kind of cool to kill a turkey in my home province, but at the end of the day, I'll just go to Nebraska or British Columbia or somewhere else where they have lots of turkeys to shoot on, right?
Yeah, I mean, Nebraska, I think you can kill a couple.
I think they can have fall birds and spring birds. And like our buddy Jake Downs, who slept there, I think he kills like a couple 3 in the fall and a couple in the spring or something.
Yeah, he just killed one like yesterday or something. Yeah,
it sounds like in some of his videos, like there's just turkeys everywhere.
I think in Minnesota, you can kill one in the spring and one in the fall, I believe.
Wasey's got this hard on to try to kill a turkey, and it's just, I don't know, for me, I just, like, people always say turkey hunting's like hunting elk, and I don't know, I just don't, I haven't done it. I haven't hunted turkeys more than a couple times, but I don't know, it just doesn't get me fired up. Does it get you fired up, turkeys?
It does, actually. When they're strutting in the spring, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I found some public land actually pretty close to my house that I was, for 3 years, I had to kill one with my bow. For some reason, I had it in my head that I had to kill one with my bow. And I was just running and gunning. So just no blind or anything, no decoys. And I was calling them in, but they'd come in strutting, but the second you would start to draw your bow back, they can just see so good, they'd disappear.
Oh, yeah.
So this year I ended up saying I'm not doing it anymore and picked up a shotgun and called one in in an hour. I think I hunted for an hour, called one in and shot it. But last year I called 8 toms in within bow range and didn't get a shot.
That's wild. That's wild. Yeah,
but it is fun.
I don't know.
It is fun. I'm with you. It's probably, it's not elk hunting, but it is fun to play that game and be able to call them in.
Yeah, for me, I think we have a spring season here. We're allowed to kill 3 turkeys in BC.
Okay.
But we have a spring season. I think I don't know, maybe if I get done killing bears, I'll maybe think about taking the trip to go kill some turkeys. They're I don't know, they're 4 or 5 hours away for me from where I'm at.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have spring bear here, so it's nice to be able to just, what I would do is I'd be back in my office by 9:30.
Oh yeah.
So I'd go turkey out in the morning and then I'd be back sitting in my office by 9:30. So it's pretty handy for me. I'd go during the week when there's a bunch of people out.
That's kind of like me with bear hunting, right? Like I can just, I can slip out my back door, go hunt bears quick and come back for lunch or whatever.
Yeah, that sounds fun. We have a ton of bears here, but they don't give out that many tags, and it's all, fall bear hunting. So it's all baiting, and I don't know. I'm not into it too much.
It's so is all of the bear hunting there limited entry?
Yes. In Minnesota it is.
Is it lottery or is it like points?
Yeah, it's lottery, I believe. I'd have to look it up. I don't think we really have a point system for anything.
Yeah, in BC, everything's lottery. So it's like you're just starting from scratch every year, right?
Everything is?
Yeah, there's no point system in BC here at all. Everything's lottery.
You should put your mule deer on a point system.
Well, there's no limited entry for mule deer. Everything's over the counter here for mule deer. It's crazy.
Tell them about so in BC, their rifle mule deer opens when?
September 10th.
And runs till
December.
So they have a 3-month mule deer any buck rifle season for 3 months.
It's okay. So all of October is any buck, and September and November are 4-point or better. But
nothing says I want to get rid of mule deer from British Columbia like that season right there.
No, it's wild.
That's cool. Do you have a archery only season for mule deer?
Yeah, September 1st to 9th, and then there's a little bit in December. Like there's 9 days in December too. But it's like, I mean, it's like basically you get a shot at them in the high country before rifle season, and then you get a shot at them in winter range after they've gone through World War III every year.
So it's like, talk about knocking down the age structure in a group of deer. Just like kill any buck you want.
I'm guessing there aren't a lot of monsters walking around.
I mean, like a lot of the like hardcore mule deer guys here in BC, like one of my good friends, Matt, I mean, he just killed a 160 and he's like a lifelong mule deer hunter, and he's passing on a lot of deer to kill a 160.
See, in Alberta, how it kind of works is we'll have an archery season, which starts September 1. And then in the month of September, you can hunt your archery buck, and then it goes to draw. So if you put in for a draw, then you can hunt rifle tag. So, but I have some zones, you can pull, I don't know. I haven't been paying attention to mule deer, but I don't know. You can pull 5, 7. I think there's a couple 10-year tags kind of thing. And then,
there's some really, really big mule deer that come out of Alberta, correct?
Oh yeah. Ty came with me there the other year, and the first night, I think we seen a 200 inch.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
There's some big deer, and that was just on public ground. So like there's some big deer. But we also it's not, our system isn't a be all to end all, and no system's ever going to be right. But I feel like we're doing leaps and bounds better than what BC is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think knocking off rifle tags probably helps a lot. Where I do a lot, like where I killed that big mule deer that you were just looking at.
Yeah.
for a non-resident I don't think a non-resident can draw a rifle tag. You can apply, but it's like, I don't know, 15, 20 years, maybe you can draw one, but it's not a strict point system. It's like you get a point and then they square it every year. I don't know exactly how it works. And then they draw out of that lottery. So it's not a regular point system, but for a non-resident to draw a rifle tag, it's, nearly impossible. And even for the residents to draw rifle tags out there, it's 10 years.
Right.
So that's
wild.
That's where you're seeing some of those bigger deer. And then you hop over to Montana, and I think it's a lot easier to draw rifle tags. Their season's right during the rut. I haven't hunted there, but from what I hear, to find 170 plus class deer, it's almost impossible.
But then Montana has much of what BC has happening, I believe. Isn't it just basically general rifle for mule deer?
Yep. For residents, I think you can just buy a tag over the counter.
So if you got guys that are just plunking 110-inch muleys every year because they want a meat buck, you're never going to have any age structure at all. So.
Yeah, and we see that. It's just, that's how it works. This little property I hunt in Wisconsin, archery hunt for whitetails, it's in prime big buck country on the river bluffs in Wisconsin. But
it's
we have a crew that goes and hunts there for rifle season. I don't blame them. They want to shoot, it's their one chance to shoot a deer. So they shoot deer. 2 years ago, they shot 9 bucks, and they were all like forks or small or whatever. And then this year, there's nothing.
Yep.
So how it works.
And they're the first guys that go, oh man, there's no big bucks around. So here's my thing too. I try to hunt mature whitetails, and I want to kill as old a whitetail as I can. That's my game. I don't really care if he scores 180 or 150 as long as he's a mature, he's got to be tried. I want to try and be 5 years plus. But as soon as I say that to somebody, they're like, oh, you're a fucking trophy hunter. Well, I like to fucking eat deer, and I like to try and kill the most mature deer I can. So it's hard to it's like we're watching two different movies with people. Some guys are like, well, I want to just, I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird space to try to explain to somebody, if you're killing older deer, you're going to have some younger deer that are going to make it up and through, and you're going to have better age structure.
Yeah. And I think there's different outlooks on hunting. I have one of my closest buddies. He enjoys the meat like a ton. He loves cooking, loves all that. He enjoys being out there, and he enjoys, killing animals. He doesn't care at the end of the day what he shoots, which he's a great dude, honest guy. That's what he loves to do. I'm different. I'll pass for years to shoot a mature deer. Yeah. And I just think it's a different mindset, right? So I sit on that property and I pass deer and wait for a big one, and other guys come in and shoot what they see, and it's tough, Yeah.
And either one, and if you talk, everyone thinks each guy's doing the wrong thing. But in hindsight, maybe nobody's doing the wrong thing. I think it's like you said, it's two different viewpoints.
Yeah. Well, what does it mean to you at the end of the day? It means more to me to shoot a mature animal that I worked really hard for. I feel more fulfilled, and it's funner. I get funner. I don't know. It's kind of what I'm out there to do, right?
Yeah, well, 100%. So.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too now with hunting deer. I kind of want to kill specific deer, a specific age class of deer. That's what I'm looking for now, right? It's I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think the word trophy has been
weaponized.
Yeah, weaponized. Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
But like you said before, Lacey, it's not, I don't care what it scores, but to me, outsmarting that older deer, that mature deer or animal, whatever it is, that's what's cool.
Yep.
It's a challenge too.
That's what I live for. Like I live for putting a slip on big whitetails or like old whitetails, you know, like I love that.
Yeah, that's killer.
Yeah.
So what's planned for 2022? Sounds like you got some new stuff cooking, and I'm sure you have some killer hunts planned. We didn't know going into this that you were a freaking mule deer assassin.
I try to be. That's what gets me fired up. Hoping to go to Idaho for bear this spring, like I mentioned. Probably do some turkey hunting around here in the spring, and then I'm not sure for fall. Probably another archery antelope hunt, and then see how the draws treat me for the rest of the year. I guess for hunting, and I'm putting in for a few. Just see how that pans out. I am going to try to do a little bit more whitetail hunting in Minnesota this year too.
You know what I find that's crazy with the United, sorry to cut you off, but I was going to say with the draw thing in the States, like me and a Canadian, I can put in for any of your guys' draws, and then I can go down without a guide, hunt Montana, Idaho, Colorado, that I know of. And like up in Canada, I can't even go over to British Columbia without Tyler being a host. He has to host me and he has to put in my application under my name. But in the States, it's like anybody can just go and freaking, like if I wanted to every year, just build priority points in the United States. And I'm not even from that fucking country.
I'm putting in for points in a lot of the Western states.
I would.
Nice.
It's a long game. But yeah, that's crazy that you can kind of just go anywhere. I mean, there are places in the States where you need a guide. There's some wilderness. I think all wilderness areas in Wyoming, you need a guide.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, it's pretty much free reign. But it's a long game for the Western hunting. But as far as like whitetail hunting and, the stuff back east, I don't know that that's growing like the Western hunting is. It seems to be less people hunting.
How does it work? Our buddy Jared Tolkey, he was putting in for, I think it was Illinois whitetail. And he said he was like 22,000 something in line to like, so I wonder how that tag system works. So he has to put in for a tag for Idaho, or not Idaho, but Illinois and all the like the Western big whitetail states. I wonder, do you know much about that or?
I don't. I haven't dove into that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think it was something like that Jared was saying. He was saying there was a lot of pressure to get one of those tags.
Yeah, Iowa, Illinois, Kansas is another pretty big whitetail state. I think Kansas is a pretty straightforward point draw system, but I don't know exactly how Illinois works.
Right. Yeah.
Iowa's a point and draw system for out of state, but I believe in state, Iowa residents can buy over the counter, can buy like 2 buck tags. There's a lot of deer down.
Yeah.
But I don't know how Illinois works. Yeah. I can't speak to that.
It might not even been Illinois. I don't know. He was putting in for one of the Midwestern, like Illinois, Kansas kind of.
It might have been Hawaii. Who knows?
I don't know. I know he was just saying. See, on that, you're going to find out on this podcast, my factual stating is fucking terrible.
You need Jamie like Joe Rogan's got.
Yeah, pull that up, Jamie.
Yeah, no, this is not that podcast. That's for sure. This is just a casual bullshit session. That's why people like it, I think. So it's good.
No, I like that. That's the way to do it. Then you get to actually know people, and you don't got notes in front of you that you're reading off. And
Yeah, that's just it.
you can tell, I don't.
That's just it, man. Like when we started talking, I was like, I don't know anything about this guy. I want to find out about him before I spend my money with his company, you know? Like,
yeah, there you go.
Like we do a lot of selfish podcasts on here. Like we have a lot of people on this podcast that we just want information from, or we want to learn about, or, you know, ask questions. Like I have Barklow on here all the time, and I just ask him about shit for my own hunts. And if the audience likes it, great. If not, I get tons of info.
Yeah, no, that works. That works for sure.
No, it's good, man.
Well, yeah, but as far as Tyto Knives goes, I mean, we've been growing year after year, and we, like I said before, we are ramping up some production in-house, especially on fixed blade stuff. So cool. You're going to see some new products out this year, as far as some new fixed blades, some cool stuff, and you know, just keeping up on inventory and keeping up on orders going out. So
that's rad.
It's going to be good.
So running a small business, like how long do you think, like, before you're going to be able to just do a life thing, I mean, be able to quit your day job?
You know, I get asked that a lot, to be honest. And I don't know that I want to. I kind of like being in both worlds, to be honest with you. What I'm really trying to do is build a team where I can more manage, you know, guys that I trust, and I can more do some more of the managing type stuff, and have that company running and keep working on my day job. As far as my day job goes, I'm a manufacturer sales rep for petroleum equipment.
Oh, there you go.
So really at the end of the day, and I'm not an employee. I'm just contracted out. So I have, you know, I kind of have some free time, and I can kind of do my own thing. So I kind of like doing both, to be honest with you.
Isn't that what Steve Eklund does?
Well, he's a salesman for like in sales gas meters and stuff. I think he does. So he does a lot of sales work. Oh, yeah. His job, and he travels a lot.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, I travel quite a bit, but it's not real crazy. It depends on the time of year and what's going on, but I'm not gone for weeks at a time or anything. It's a couple nights and then I'm back. So cool. Most everything's within driving distance for me. And, you know, a lot of what I'm doing is traveling states that I like to hunt in and talking to people who have, you know, similar interests to me as far as my day job goes as well. So
that's killer.
You know, I guess I'm kind of happy where I'm at on that, but
that's a good setup.
I'm getting more to the point where I don't have to stay up till, you know, midnight, 1, 2 o'clock, doing all the hands-on stuff myself. So it's getting better in that aspect.
That's good. Yeah, it's good to build out the team and get the production dialed in and all that kind of stuff. And cool, man. Well, it was rad to learn about you and learn about Tyto, Luke, and it was cool to see that deer you killed and hear the story, man. That's wicked.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
I'm still going to call it Tyto, though. That's
fine.
Yeah, well, that works for me.
Tyto reminds me too much of Tito Ortiz. I just like, he's got that big fucking head, you know. I like Tyto.
It's a little faster, a little more high speed.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so that works for me. So how do folks find you? How do they order a knife? How do they send you money? How do we do this?
At Tyto Knives on Instagram. TytoKnives.com is the website.
There you go.
Head over there and take a look at what we got going on. Try to stay up, you know, pretty good on Instagram, posting new products and what's going on with us. Yeah.
Deadly.
Awesome, man.
That's good.
Right on. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the podcast, please subscribe and leave us a review. You can follow us on Instagram at Wilderness Locals. If you want to support the podcast, please check out the gear, articles, and whatever else we're up to on the website at www.wildernesslocals.net.